When it comes to buying a home, a lot of people make a lot of mistakes, and mistakes that cost you a lot of money.
Gamalier, we got a great video for our viewers out there. Today, we're going to talk about the biggest mistakes people make when buying a home. Stay tuned.
Hello everybody, this is Gamalier, broker realtor with Sturgis Realty Group.
And I'm Alan Rios. I'm the realtor with Sturgis Realty Group here in Metro Atlanta.
And today we have a great topic for you. This is a topic that's going to save you money, time, and frustration.
That's right. The biggest mistakes people make when it comes to buying a home. And we're going to cover it in this video. And let's start off with number one, Gamalier.
Well, number one is not getting prepared.
That's true. A lot of times, buyers who are intending to buy a home will go online right away, right? Take a look at some of the real estate sites, right? Take a look at the beautiful pictures, the neighborhood. They may be able to afford the home. They may not be able to afford the home. They haven't done their homework.
That's correct. And obviously, what is the homework? Well, you got to know some of the important items that are going to allow you to buy a home and get approved for a loan. And number one is knowing your credit score.
And that's very important. I mean,
yes.
If you don't check your credit score, you know, that could be a big factor as far as getting approved for a loan. You know, they look at different factors as far as what constitutes a good credit score versus a poor credit score.
And we'll do a further video about credit score to explain that in detail. But normally, you know, credit score could go anywhere between 300 all the way to 850.
Sure.
You know, most banks are looking at 620 plus on credit score, so that's just to let you know. But obviously, you gotta know your credit score, and then obviously you need to make a strategy if you're not there, how to get that credit score to where you need to get able to borrow money.
Yeah, and then another area that is kind of missed out on as well is the work history, right? So you want to have at least 2 years of work experience to show proof of that. Otherwise, you could use your college experience, right? Your years that you were in college, I should say, towards your work experience. So that's two areas that you can look at there to qualify to purchase a home.
And that's another important, like Alan mentioned, the work history. People don't think of that, but if you're working a part-time, a lot of time, they want you to be working a full-time. And even to count a part-time job, you have to be there working for a long time steady. But it's kind of hard with some of the bank even to approve you when it comes to a part-time job. They're looking at a full-time job. And again, like Alan mentioned, it has to be minimum typically 2 years that they want you to be working to build that work history. And that's the great tip about the college also.
It is. That's a thing that a lot of people don't know about, which is a really unique aspect of that. The other one is a debt ratio. That's something that you want to consider. The amount of money you're bringing in versus how much you're spending on expenses. It could be credit card debt, it could be car loans, right? You want to make sure your debt is on the lower end. That way you have more purchasing power when it comes to buying a house.
That's correct. So they're going to look at, like you mentioned, the debt ratio, which is that ratio that the bank gives you when they're looking at your income that you make versus your expenses. And they're going to give you that ratio. Normally you want it to be as low as possible so you're able to borrow more and be able to get a loan. So when the debt ratio is too high, that means you have too many expenses. Then you have to work on making a strategy to decrease some of those expenses to be able to get the ratio enough to borrow.
All right, let's go to number two, and that is not getting a buyer agent. And a buyer agent can help you out tremendously. We've got resources to get you started, but not only that, a buyer agent represents you, the buyer, when it comes to purchasing a home, and it's no cost to you as well. Right?
Yeah, a lot of people know that what most people do is they get up and they look online, they find that property that they love. Then they go see the house in an open house, they meet with the agent there, and the agent say, well, great, I'm going to help you buy this home. What they don't realize is that this buyer is representing the seller. He's the listing agent. You have a listing agent who represent the seller, then you have a buyer agent that represent the buyer. You definitely want to make sure you're working with a buyer agent that represent you 100%, who's able not only to show you property, get you access to all the property, but also is able to negotiate at the best possible deal for you also.
Yeah, and it will look out for you. That's the key right there too, when hiring a buyer agent versus using that listing agent to purchase that house.
And another good thing about a buyer agent, experienced buyer agent, they have a lot of resources. They could connect you with the best financing available based on your situation. Lenders. They could connect you with good inspectors. So they have a lot of resources that could help you to make the whole process smoothly of buying a home.
Exactly. All right, let's go to number 3, and that is not knowing the real estate market. So, we know the real estate market, so it's just very common to us as far as what's going on. But for someone who's coming into the market, they may not know, what are the strategies that are included to purchasing a home, or is it a seller's market versus a buyer's market? Those are the things that you have to consider when it comes to going into the real estate market.
Yes, there's a lot of things obviously what goes on with the market. The market is always changing. Currently right now in the Metro Atlanta, we are in a strong seller market. What that means is that inventory is very low.
Still low, yeah.
And also when it comes for finding that particular home that you love and like, you're gonna have competition with good homes. So you gotta be prepared on putting that offer together that makes sense, and work with an experienced agent like a group here, Sturgis Realty Group, that will help a lot of buyers buy property, whether it's your first home or investment property. We can make that happen for you.
That's exactly right. So let's take a look at number 4, and that is putting a large down payment. Now that might sound great, especially if you've got the money, right?
Yes.
But a lot of times people think, well, I have to put 20% down or more in order to purchase a house.
Yeah.
There are ways around it, and it all depends on your financial situation.
And what you hear most of the time is obviously people saying, oh, you should put 20% so you don't pay that PMI, that primary mortgage insurance. That's an insurance that the bank charges you additional when you put less than 20%. But what happens is you are saving all this money, you had that 20% saving there, you use all your money to buy the home, and after you buy the home, then you find yourself you're poor, you don't have no savings, you don't have anything. Now something happens with the home where you have to do a repair, the roof repair or a new water heater or furnace, then you don't have the money, you're very tight. So the idea is obviously if you have a lot of money, enough for rainy days and enough for down payment, then it could be a good idea to put that much down. But if that's all you have, make sure that you just go for a lower down payment option. Save some money in the side. Make sure you get that rainy day money. That way you're in a position where you're gonna feel better if something breaks or something happens in the house. You had that money where you could take care of those little items.
Exactly. So think of it as 2 savings funds, right? One for emergency or rainy day fund, and then another fund to save up the money to use towards a down payment. Those are the 2 key things that are involved with that problem number 4. All right, let's go to number 5, waiving a home inspection.
Oh no.
I've heard about this.
Yeah,
that's something I do not like to do with my buyer clients, but it is a seller's market, and there are cases where they waive the home inspection.
Yeah, and obviously, unfortunately, with this market, selling market, some people are getting just desperate and they're waiving everything, which is one thing that you don't want to do, is waive the home inspection, because you should do a home inspection, get to know what's going on with the home. There could be something that could be very major, like a foundation problem, a roof needs to be changed, and then you bought this home to find out after you close, and you're sleeping in your bed, that you have this leak coming into your top of you, and now you need a new roof, your drywall work, and you got all this money you need to do, and it becomes a very nightmare. When it comes to doing a home inspection, the home inspection is really good, not only because it tells you everything that's happening with the property, but also it gives you the opportunity to negotiate before closing and get some of those items taken care of, so you're not on the vine with all these repairs that need to be taken care of this home, and you will sleep a lot better.
Exactly. And that report that you get, you can use that as a guide. So when you're living in the home, you can use that book report, basically. It's like a book report, right?
Yes.
And you can kind of tackle some of the projects. It might be like minor things, like maybe changing the filter out, maybe saving that money for a furnace that might need to be replaced, maybe say 5 to 10 years down the road. Things like that. So it kind of gives you an idea of what to expect.
Yeah, and you know everything about the home as far as little cosmetic or big items. So the inspection is a must. One of the things that I told my buyer, you must do that, and it doesn't cost a lot. Range anywhere between $275 all the way to $500, depending on the size of the home. But believe me, it's very worth it.
Yeah, money well spent for sure. All right, let's go to number 6, buying foreclosures. And when people hear foreclosures, they think, I got a deal!
I got a great deal.
Yeah, but not all the time, especially in this type of market we're in right now.
Yeah, what we see is obviously foreclosures are less than 1% right now in this current market around Metro Atlanta. Yeah. But what happens is when foreclosures come out, nowadays they come close to the price of market. But what comes with foreclosures? This is a home that's been empty for a long period of time, don't have the utility sounds or nothing, so you're gonna definitely have some repairs you need to take care of.
Yeah,
and sometimes
for sure.
when you're buying a home like that for market price, you end up paying too much because now you're gonna, in some cases, live in a construction site, which is a lot of projects. And it becomes a very nightmare pretty quick.
Yeah, if you like to handle projects, hey, it's great. Go for it. Buy foreclosures. But you know, as we mentioned, in this market here, a lot of the banks are selling properties pretty close to what the market is asking. So we're starting to see some foreclosures come on the market, but right now they're not the best deal.
Yes.
Considering the market we're in right now.
And like once in a while, obviously, you may have a good deal.
Sure.
But the one thing what I tell people is when it comes to foreclosure is you need to have the time and you need to have the money. So
and energy. Yeah.
And energy. Sometimes people say, well, I'm handy and everything, and I handle all this repair and everything, but then they realize that they work in another job too that don't have the time. So this project becomes a year project and you're living in a construction site and it's not that fun anymore. But there's still a lot of opportunity for investment perspectives out there. But nowadays foreclosure, for what we see, is not always in the best buy, especially for people that never owned a home before.
Exactly. All right, let's go to our next biggest mistake people make, and it's number 7. They focus on the small items.
Yes.
And when we say small items, we're talking about you bring a buyer into a house, they start looking at the rug, I don't like the color, I don't like the paint color, I don't like the furniture. I mean, it could be things like that, but the house is exactly what they're looking for. They got the space, the amount of rooms, the location, right, Gamalier?
Yeah, and that happens with a lot of times when you're a first-time buyer, you never own a home. It's hard for you to see through the home and see the aspect of what you need versus what you want. And a lot of times, if the main thing you need to look when you're looking at a home, does this home has the space that I need? That should be the number one question. As far as upgrade and cosmetic, carpet, paint, those are things you could do pretty easy and not cost as much. But obviously when you're creating space into a home, spending space, creating another room and all that, that could become pretty costly pretty quickly. So obviously when you're walking through a home, take that in consideration. Sometimes when the home needs a little paint, carpet, those are the deals that we talk about, because a lot of times the prices go a little lower on those, and you could get those repairs done pretty quickly and bring it to a brand new, just with paint sometimes.
Yeah, so don't focus on the small items. If it's a house that you truly like, then just go for it. Hey, you can work on those minor projects down the road. All right, well, we covered some of the biggest mistakes people make when buying a home. Please leave some comments below. If you have any questions, or if you know of another mistake that's common amongst buyers when they hit the market, let us know as well. But there's other mistakes out there, obviously, but these are some of the biggest ones that we focus on here.
And we love to work with people, obviously they live here, and we help people all through Metro Atlanta, but also we work with people who are out of town, are relocating to here to Atlanta, and people who actually live in other countries who get touch and base with us when emails and send us questions.
Sure.
So definitely, if you have a question, you could reach us by email, you could reach us by phone. We'll love to help with you and help you through the buying process and avoid a lot of these mistakes.
Exactly. And remember to click like and subscribe and click the notification bell, please. That way you'll be notified when our new videos come on YouTube once a week. Check that out. Plus we've got a video library covering different real estate topics and also some cities around Metro Atlanta.
Thank you for watching the video. Have a great day.
Take care.